So when it came to actually implementing and using some of the technology in my Hall 150, the first thing that I was mindful of is to not throw it all at them at once. I gradually introduced some of the features of the room. At first, we really just focused on the group tables and that aspect of the room. And then I tried to use the microphones on the tables, and we got used to that a little bit, and then we introduced iPads to every table. The first day I had a lot of comments like, oh my goodness, this doesn't look like a lecture hall I've seen before. And I think at every step there was some amount of surprise, but there weren't any big bumps in terms of actually using the technology. When we asked students to write something on their iPads, they were familiar. So one of the things that I always prepare for when teaching in an active learning way is student resistance. However, I was actually surprised at the level of student resistance was basically non-existent in this classroom. And I think the reason was that they walked into the space and they knew that they were going to be learning in a different way. So in order to teach in my Hall 150, we had a whole team of support. So I had about 5 TAs for a class of about 250. Being part of the teaching team in my Hall 150 was not only a job for the TAs, but a real professional development opportunity that they could apply elsewhere in their future. So one of the really positive outcomes that I didn't think through as much ahead of time is the great relationships that students developed with the TAs that were in their sections. When I asked for feedback regularly in the class, one of the most common responses is, I really appreciate the support of my TA, and I know that they are supporting my learning and they believe in me. So anytime that you're working in an environment with technology, and especially new technology, you're going to encounter issues regularly. When I encountered those issues, I just tried to move on with the class, and generally students were really understanding. If an instructor is new to teaching in an active learning classroom, the first thing that I would recommend is that they look at other people teaching in an environment. If they aren't able to physically go to a classroom, there are lots of videos online. That practice of looking and seeing what it looks like in action is really important. And then a third tip that I would give is to develop a narrow toolbox. You don't have to feel like you have to use all of the technology in the room and have to take absolutely every opportunity you have. Start small. Think of a couple of things that you can do consistently, and students really appreciate that consistency. If you want to add later on, you can, but I would caution against trying to do too much.